live. Hello there, Gwen. Good morning.
Good morning, Steve. How are you?
Good. How's it going?
Good, good. I was listening to you there. You threw a broad net.
I don't know if I'm on target or not with it, but I always try to take a little inspiration with what we're going to talk about. So before we get too far into what you're doing, though, we have two things that have to happen, two little kind of housekeeping things or rules, I'll call them, and hopefully you'll agree to both of them. The first one is I get to read your bio and introduce people to who you are. And the second thing is I will play a song, and the song is called the First Time Guest Welcoming Song Theme Song. So are you cool with both of those demands? All righty.
I'm good.
Here, we're going to put you in the big screen here. Whoops, there's me in the big screen here. Now you are in the big screen. You should be. Let's try it this way. There we go. Perfect. So I will read your bio and then we'll play the song and then we'll turn it over to you and let you just tell us all about your community. So Gwen Peterson is the founder of Spiritual Communities Network. It is her mission and joy to support teachers and seekers of spiritual growth. Spiritual Communities Network, or SCN for short, offers its members a platform to promote their work. SCN, I have SNC mistakenly written down there. SCN is a matchmaker for spiritual seekers and teachers. I like that phrase, spiritual seekers and teachers. Very good. So SCN also offers support for teachers on how to grow their business and reach a larger audience for their work. Gwen herself is a teacher of meditation and soul development, assisting those who are ready to find fuller meaning in their lives. She uses SCN to help connect those seeking greater happiness, joy, love, and joy in their own lives with her own services. So you're using your business to help promote your own business, aren't you?
Yes.
There you go. So Gwen Peterson, welcome to the American Gumption Morning Show. We're grateful that you're joining us this morning. Let me play the First Time theme song. All right, you ready for this? Gwen, have you ever had a marching band welcome you to a broadcast before?
No, and I hope my members don't expect to have that happen to them when I present them.
Well, this is unique to the American Gumption Morning Show, so you don't have to, anyway, good. So welcome.
I might expect it.
We're glad that you're here. Thank you. I was in the high school marching band, so little John Philip Sousa was always fun. Now, the only thing about that is that that's the First Time Guest Welcoming theme song. So if we have you back in the future, don't expect the same treatment. This is a one-time deal. So a good place to start is, just tell us about the Spiritual Communities Network and, how did it get started? When did it get started? Was there like an aha moment that happened where you went, oh my gosh, I got to do this thing? Because you were probably doing your own little coaching, thing and, initially, and then what happened where you went, oh my gosh, I've got to start this community. I got to bring these people together.
And a little bit of all that. pretty much it all started when I was doing my own work, okay? Just really working on Gwen. Just
Mm,
Gwen needed some help and some clearing and kind of reassessing her life. And so, this was probably over 20 years ago. So I was, I had my own practice and I was moving along on my own little thing. And my personal work started coming out of that. And as I was doing my classes and things, I kept hearing community, community. And I was like, okay, I'm not real sure what this whole community thing is that's coming through. But, and then just over a course of years, I would just follow nudges. Like there was a nudge to create a community calendar, and then there was a nudge to have a newsletter. And, I was just kind of following those things, no big deal. And then a lady showed up from, I think it was Iowa, and she's like, I just moved to Florida because I was told I needed to help you build a spiritual community.
wow.
I didn't know what to say to that. I was like, what are you talking about? And then it was like very shortly after that, during one of my meditations, the spirit just kind of downloaded. You're going to take all of what you've been doing and you're going to pull it together. You're going to anchor it in on 11-11-11, and you're going to start a spiritual community consciousness.
Wow.
And I was like, I'm not quite sure what that looks like or what that is. And this was like in March of 2011. So I had 7-8 months to try and pull it together. And it was interesting. We did like a pub crawl kind of thing. I knew a handful of places and teachers that I thought, well, what I'll do is have I'm going to apologize for the lawnmower guys. Thursdays in Florida are not a
we didn't plan that very well.
But so I had a handful of people. I was like, we could do kind of an open house thing. Each location would be open. I'd kind of put out to people, and at that time all I had was the newsletter. Okay. I didn't have any social media. It was just the newsletter, and this calendar was pretty much it. So I asked these people if they'd be open to trying this thing out, and they said, sure. And by the time word went out, and by the time November 11th rolled around, we had 15 locations. And we ended up having like a kickoff thing in the morning and an afterglow party at the end. And we had hundreds of people show up. It was insane. I don't know where these people came from. And we celebrate 11/11 every year. And I'll have people show up and they'll be like, I was at the very first one, and each one every year is different themed and has a different context and stuff. It's not that pub crawl thing, because now our membership is universal. It's global. We're international now. So it's a little more difficult that way. So we do everything online now. And that works out. But yeah, it was, and you said something that was kind of funny. Spirit had a good laugh at the whole thing, because when I started pulling all this together, my biggest fear was, I was like, okay, I'm going to put this all together. We've got people, and I'm thinking Naples, Spiritual Community of Naples was the group. And I thought, okay, so we got like 15 locations, maybe more or less, depending on who wants to stick around. And I'm like, but where do I find the people? Because these people, the teachers are going to want people in their classes, right?
Yeah.
And that's where Spirit was probably laughing really loud, because it turned out that it was the people that just it was like a door opened up and people were like, this is the best thing ever. And then what it did is it flipped, because then it became the job of, I got to find teachers.
Wow. Wow.
And the teachers seemed to not jump into it as quickly, because, a lot of the spiritual teachers, like you said, we're not the celebrity A-list. So you have people that are new coming into their work, and some of them just are like, you want me to do what? Put myself out there for everybody to see. I don't know if I'm prepared. So it was funny to see. I had this huge flow of people coming in looking for teachers. And then the teachers were not in Naples. And I was like, so Fort Myers was like, well, what about us? And then it was, Orlando, what about us? So it started spreading out. Now we have people, Oregon, Costa Rica, teachers all over. So I had to change the name. Couldn't be Naples anymore.
No.
So it became Spiritual Communities Network.
Boy, you've you opened up a door for a whole bunch of great questions to follow up with. So thank you for that kind of overview. I didn't know that. We had spoken before, and I'm hearing all of this for the first time in terms of the history. I knew a little bit about it, but what first thing is, what's really interesting is that roughly 20 years ago, you started your own spiritual quest in terms of like, how do I get Gwen under control? And I'm laughing about that because that's exactly how I got involved with this too. I was going to be a speaker, and I was going to, develop a motivational message. And the very first thing I learned was that, oh my gosh, I've got to do my own work, and I got to clean up Steve's closet rather than try to talk to anybody else about their closet. So it's I guess probably all of us get into the work that way, where it's like we're our own, development. So that's kind of interesting. You did it for about 10 years, just kind of by yourself, developing your own, doing your own work, and then, building a basic clientele. And then, so it was 11, 11, 11. So it's coming up on 10 years. You'll have a 10-year anniversary this year. Congratulations. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you. We're excited about that. I'm like, 10 years. Where did that go?
And we'll be allowed outside again this year.
But lots of fun. I wanted to touch, if I can, there's, when you're talking about people, I want to make sure people are clear on the whole spirituality thing, because this is a real thought process people hold, that if they start a spiritual practice, it means they have to become some kind of spiritual guru at some point, or a healer, or whatever have you. And that's really not the case. That's really not what that's not what spirituality is about. Yeah, there's some people that there's that calling. And I'll tell you, when I started my practice, I wasn't looking for a calling. Okay. I was just looking for peace, love, and joy in my life. And so as I was doing my teaching and stuff, and I'd have people come in, and they, I want to do, they were looking for that too, a wholeness, a peacefulness in their life. They just really wanted to figure out why they had that void that needed to be filled. And so as we did the work, that would come up, and they were like, so what do I do with this? And I said, you with your spirituality, because what you're doing is you're just kind of developing who you are more. And they're like, well, what do I do with this? And I'm like, you just continue doing what you're doing. You take your spirituality into your life. You don't have to hang a shingle and say, I'm now a Reiki master. If you're drawn to do Reiki, it doesn't mean that you're going to teach it. It means you're using it in your life, because Reiki is more than, just the modality. So, if I can give an example, I had a young guy come in to my Monday night group. It's called The Art of Allowing. And he had had a loss in his life, a family member, and it was really hard on him, and he needed to try to find some kind of peace with it. I'm just going to use peace. Find a way to move through that grief. And as we're doing it, his spirituality, he just really gravitated to, I want to go deeper with my work. I want, get my spiritual practice, his own personal spiritual practice under his belt. And he asked me that question. It kind of threw me off. He's like, does that mean I can't do what I do now? And I said, I'm not following what you mean. And he's like, do I have to be a spiritual teacher if I'm, doing spirituality? I'm like, no, spirituality is just a lifestyle. I said, what do you do now? And he's like, he fits prosthetics for people. And I said, and this always makes me tear up when I think of this. I said, hon, what you do with your spirituality is you bring that heartfelt place to your work. When you fit something to somebody, you're connecting with them. You're bringing forth that connection, that love, because instead of, it's just another client, here's your stuff, instead you're like hearing the people. He's like, I was just told by somebody that when I fitted them for their prosthetic, that was the first time their prosthetic didn't hurt. And I said, that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
Spirituality is just bringing it into your life.
Yeah, he was already doing something very spiritual, but he just didn't have the awareness. He wanted more awareness. He wanted more intentionality to it. And so he was already doing it on a, kind of on a subconscious level, but he wanted to bring that into the conscious level. And so really he was doing nothing different other than, awakening. I love that.
I appreciate that. Thanks. So so the members, they come in, they just want to do their work. And sometimes they'll get nudges of, what is the Spiritual Communities Network? I feel like I need to, pursue this. And that's usually because they're ready to take their work to the next level. They're starting to feel those nudges that they're ready to do a little bit more. And over the years, it didn't start out there, the whole business coaching part of it. That's not where I started. But it's evolved to that because more and more members come in and they're kind of like, I don't know, how do I do this? We host what I call community education programs. So we host a couple of free community classes a month where people can learn something. It's a free 30-minute class. So they get to learn something about a certain topic. They get to learn about that teacher and what that teacher's like and what they teach. So it works to where you get to know this teacher. And if you want to go to, or say you don't want to go with this teacher, but you wanted to know about that topic so you could pursue it closer to home, it works out really good that way. So we do those, and then we do wellness events throughout the year too.
I loved what you said that, you can learn who the teacher is, but you can also learn about the topic because, like topics kind of fall into, categories, or they're topics, they're groups. And so there's different people who do different things. And so you might really be interested in a topic, but then you want to find the right teacher for that. And
right.
You're not going to connect with everybody. So
yeah. And again, spirituality, it's different for everybody. So, perfect example would be like psychics and mediums. All right. Not everybody wants to be a psychic and a medium, but we have psychics and mediums. Some will teach it if you want to learn it, but most people just want to go to a psychic or a medium and hear what they have to say. So sometimes the community classroom can revolve around how to develop your psychic ability. Or sometimes they'll have a community classroom where we had one lady, it was really popular too. She shared what the most common communications come through from loved ones. And that class was just packed. People were like, I want to know what what are the loved ones saying on the other side? And it was wonderful. She just, she had a beautiful way of presenting it. And the people were like, I want to know more, tell me more, and it was just beautiful. And you could tell that a lot of people were having healing moments from their own personal grief. So.
I've had a few psychics and mediums. Haven't gone too far, like I wouldn't say that this show is about that so much, the American Gumption Show, but I have interviewed some. And what happens is there's a lot of like online energy that occurs that is different than like this kind of conversation where we're kind of laying out like, kind of the big picture, as opposed to like psychics and medium, they get right into the weeds and they just do healing instantly. Re-emphasize that anybody who is either I shouldn't say, I should let you say what people should contact you for, but I'll just sort of lay it out and then you kind of fill in the blanks. But the Spiritual Communities Network is really for two reasons: people who are looking for guidance, or if you're a teacher and you have something to offer. And my understanding is if you want to be a member, then you're going to sign up to be more as like a teacher and you're going to get put on there. Otherwise, if you're just a seeker, you can just kind of log in and, there's nothing, tell us how it works if you're just a seeker.
Yeah. If you just want to know more about what our teachers are about, then or practitioners, best thing to do is visit our website. Mm-hmm. That has everything on there. If you like Meetup, we have a Meetup calendar where they post their classes and events. And it's free to use Meetup. The classes and events, you'll have to look specifically to see if teachers are charging for their classes or not and what they're charging. Like I said, our community classrooms are free, so you can participate in that. Our wellness classes are free. We have a newsletter. So if you're a newsletter person, we have a monthly newsletter. It'll give you all the information of what's going on within the community. If you're a Facebook person, we've got Facebook, we've got Instagram, we've got Twitter, Pinterest, LinkedIn. In fact, that's where I met Steve, was on LinkedIn. Yep. And so we got you covered. Wherever you like to connect, that's where we're at. And you can find out more information on a plethora of topics.
Yeah, no, it's great. So there are, if you want to be a member of the Spiritual Communities Network, you're really more of a teacher at that point, and you're going to put your profile up and you're going to list what you offer. But for someone who just wants to come and get information or connect with somebody, there's right. Free offerings on a monthly basis, and then there's access to the different teachers, and then each teacher has different price points in terms of what they offer.
Yep. And for those practitioners who are interested, there's a page that says become a member on our website.
Yep.
Just go there. It spells out what the different memberships are and what their costs are. We have a 3-month free trial, no obligation available if they're interested in that.
I have a feeling that the conversation will continue.
I appreciate very much your having me here. Thank you so much. It was wonderful. You're just a fantastic person. I'm so glad we were able to make that connection. And I look forward to our future work together.
Great. Well, thank you, Gwen. We'll see you next time.
Thank you, Steve.
All righty. Well, that was Gwen Peterson. Very grateful that she joined us. spiritualcommunitiesnetwork.com. There's the website. And here is her personal website that you can go to, insightsandilluminations.com. I didn't even check that out. I was focused so much on the Spiritual Communities Network, I missed that part of it. So anyway, we obviously we'll have to have Gwen back just to talk about insightsandilluminations.com.